Hello everyone and welcome back. This is game 2 in the series between Doni the Psycho and Logan James. We'll see if Logan James can keep the curse of the Mori going and get the sweet 2-0 on his home turf at Waterfalls. And it looks like he's definitely kind of sticking with what works. But, actually he's got a no-dachi thrown in the action here, so a little bit of a difference actually. Got the one matchlock in bow, a couple Yari Ashigaru, and it's got definitely more cavalry here. It's got some great guard and Yari cavalry and a little bit hidden off in the trees. So very similar to what we saw in the last game with a little bit of adjustments. Look at Doni the Psycho. He's taken a noticeably different army, a lot of swords this time, wants to be able to grind out that infantry fight. Maybe realizing his mistake in the last match of not really having a very strong part of his army to drive the wedge in. Also bringing a great guard and 2 light cavalry. Got the 2 bow warrior monks, but no experience spent on them, putting his experience instead in his front line. Now he's technically going to be on the defensive here, and we'll see what he does. The one bow Ashigaru is going to try and get some shots off. The matchlocks actually did very well in the last match. We'll see if he'll be able to use them like he did in the last one. Logan James did very well in the last match, I thought, and can really pull out an impressive win here on his home turf, I think. The cavalry is also flanking around the side here, using that ridge to get a favorable advantage. And we have 2 units coming in, 2 of Yari cavalry, maybe just going to try outright rushing the infantry line and getting some early casualties off. Nice shots there. Oh, but the Yaris are going to get there in time. Yari Samurai popped that advance rapidly. You saw him run so quickly. That's what I love about Yari Samurai. And they will stop that dead in his tracks. And he lost about 8 cavalrymen there. So good job there to keep his infantry line safe from taking early casualties. But the matchlock Ashigaru doing some decent damage. They've killed about 20 men. The bow Ashigaru have killed about 20 men. So they're doing their job here. But it's one thing the early missile can do is take the heat off of your advancing infantry. So it might be a good time to press forward now, especially while his spears are reorganizing, and get his cavalry around the rear so he can be ready to pounce on those swords as soon as an opening arises. Because the cavalry for Doni is not in a good spot. So, I mean, by that I mean there's like no room for them to be coming up the front. So if you can maneuver a spear unit in really quickly, this is where a Yari Samurai come in handy with that advance rapidly, and go up now before his cavalry can get into a better position, Logan James will have a big advantage. Logan James being in blue, of course. Light cavalry, all of his cavalry seems to be running forward towards this matchlock. Going to be a waste, I think, at only 25 men. He risked losing his cavalry by getting caught and sending all of his cavalry. I don't think that was a very good decision, because here comes the Yari Ashigaru. If they get stuck in melee here, all of his cavalry will be gone, and again, he'll be at a big distance. Whoa! Maybe I spoke too soon, because the Yari and Katana cavalry are coming out the side here, and there's a nice distraction at least going up front. They're now pulling back, and they're going to hit this Yari cavalry, so not a big mistake like I thought it was going to be. It was actually a pretty good distraction. I might have felt for that myself if I were Logan James. And he might just lose his cavalry unit outright, but taking some casualties, but Logan's definitely getting the worst of the action up there. But speaking of action, we have Katana Samurai are now rushing the front and going to get some decent charges off. This Katana Samurai is already down to 55 men. This one's at 70. This one's at 90, so Doni the Psycho is taking casualties. But, not in a very good position himself. Those bow monks have been wreaking havoc on Logan James. This Katana Samurai is down to 40 men. That one's down to 60, so the infantry battle could go either way here. We do have some wavering on Doni the Psycho's part. And the general is getting hammered by bows now. I think that's a good decision there by Doni the Psycho. They start hitting the general. Try and get Logan flustered here, because his attack is a little bit disorganized, and if Doni can catch him off guard here and catch him in a bad time, he could really turn this battle around quickly. So I think that was a good idea to really put the pressure on Logan James. Doni the Psycho's cavalry is now moving around the rear, trying to get to a better position around the back of his own fort. Now he's pulled his cavalry off of the rear up on top of the ridge, and Logan James' cavalry is trying to reposition as well. Doni the Psycho is going to take advantage of that and hit his cavalry into Logan James. But it looks like Logan's going to get the better of this melee engagement. He's now pressing his forces in, but there's a big gap here that he can potentially funnel some cavalry through and rout the infantry line. If he could do that, that would be absolutely huge. Logan James' general is down to 6 men, but he's still alive, though he is wavering. If he kills the general here, it's going to be a very close battle, but I think Logan James has the upper hand. There goes the general, so the battle at the moment I think is going Logan James' favor, but the general is now gone. So Doni the Psycho could really turn around here, especially his Katana reserves need to get into the battle here and get a charge in from the rear. If he can rout this infantry line, the battle is essentially his, because all you'll have left are Yaris and cavalry, and the Yaris and katanas for Doni the Psycho will be more than enough to clean this up, but he's got to get him around. Fortunately, he's going to get a little impatient here and just run straight into the melee head on. Definitely should have taken the time to flank. He had an opportunity to do so. Did not take it. The Yari Ashigaru and the Naginata monks are now joining the fight, but the cavalry is going to squeeze right through the hole here. General's dismounted though and stand and fight, so the cavalry is going to try and get through the hole, but stopped by the horses. Another cavalry is going to try and get through. They're not going to get stopped by the horses and will be hitting the general right on. And again, both sides being a little impatient. I think if you got this Yari Ashigaru around and get a nice charge from the rear, would have been much more effective, especially though time isn't on his side here. That's, I think, even more reason to try and flank and get a big charge in from the rear. So it's going to be close now. Naginata Samurai not committed yet. The cavalry, you'd think it's a waste going into the Bo Ashigaru. They're really not needed at this point, though they are routed quite quickly, so it's going to be close. That cavalry has to get to the front line. This main line has to get routed. If he can do that, he can clean them up. The general's down to 7 men, though, for Doni the Psycho. If he loses his general here, we're going to be on relatively even ground, and I think the advantage is going to go in Logan James' favor. And there's the general gone. The cavalry is now hitting the main line, and ooh, that was a close battle, but it looks like Logan James is going to pull out the sweep here, 2-0. Oh yeah, massive charge, sending mass wavering and the mass rout. 1 unit, there we go. Logan James, oh no, there's 1 unit left, can't call it quite yet. And there they go, Yari Samurai rout. So 2-0 Logan James, see you back on the main menu. Well, Doni the Psycho was desperately clinging to life there in that second game, and it was so close. Should have taken better advantage of the general routing and maybe get a big charge in from the rear of this cavalry, and really made a big difference. Hitting the cavalry early was a good idea with that distraction, but eventually he had to get to that melee line. He had a lot of opportunities to do it, but just couldn't take advantage of it, and Logan James is going to keep the curse of the Mori alive, taking the series 2-0, but a fairly close 2-0 sweep though. Sometimes the numbers do lie. That was a very close second battle, but I think Logan James, the convincing win in the first match, is going to be enough to convince all of us that he deserves to stay in this tournament. Unfortunately, Doni the Psycho is out. That's the thing about the losers bracket. 1 loss is all it takes. And there you have it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next match.